With Lightfall right around the corner, that means that we have a year's worth of armor available to us, and I've used a lot of that armor and incorporated it into my daily fashion. And right now, I want to show you what I have going for all of my guardians. What fashion am I taking into Lightfall? Now, if you don't care about a certain class, then go ahead and use the skip links down below if you just want to skip to your favorite class. But I'm going to be starting off with my Titan because one of the most potent builds right now is the Heart of the Inmost Light. And it just so happens that this week in Eververse, she is selling the ornament for the Heart of the Inmost Light, and I'm using it in this build, and here's how I did it. So there was a whole lot of things that I wanted to use for my new fashion on my Titan. One of those things was Ensilvered Snare. The second big thing that I wanted to use on my Titan is the Iron Companion helmet, because of course, if you follow me on Twitter, I have been begging for this helmet for a very long time, and since we got it, it's never leaving my head. And you may be thinking, Muffin, everybody's wearing that helmet. Well, that's true because it's great and I have to use it. Like I said, I begged for years for this helmet to come back, and I have a cute little 3D printed version of it on my desk that I got for my birthday. That shows you how much I love this helmet. And since this helmet is very medieval looking, that means I have to make the rest of my Titan medieval looking. So I started with the legs because I immediately knew what to use here, and that was the Devastation Complex legs. Now we go to the arms, and there were a ton of choices when considering what arms to use here. One of the really great ones was the Nightly Noir gauntlets from the Fortnite set, and I almost ended up using these, but I saw so many other Titans using them, and I wanted to be at least a little bit more unique, so I went with the Virtuous gauntlets instead. And lastly, we go for the mark. So same story on these. There is a ton of things that you can use for your own Titan if you're following along, but I decided to go with something very long and extravagant, and that was the Desolation Diver mark. And that's it. This is how I made the Titan that I use every single day. Like I said, the Heart of the Inmost Light is one of the most potent builds in Destiny 2 right now, so I had to make something using this ornament, and I think it matches pretty well. And if you're not really a fan of this exotic or you don't have the ornament, don't worry about it because the Curus of the Falling Star, another Titan favorite, works perfectly with this as well. But of course, I do want to hear your feedback on my Titan. How can I improve it? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Let me know in the comments down below. And since you're already down there, why don't you consider subscribing? If you don't subscribe, I'll make sure you get some extra error codes thrown your way day one of Lightfall. Now for my hunter, the idea that I had in my head is if we're going to be using strand for Lightfall, I might as well look the part. On top of that, for all of the advertisements that Bungie is pushing out, it's making us look like these late 80s action hero robo warrior guardians, and I wanted to also lean into that. Now, lucky for us, Bungie already gave us the perfect shader to do this, and that is the Seraphim Cloak. It gives us a very good base to start off with the dark black color and the neon green colors that Strand is known to have. Next, I know we're doing a Strand build, but I thought that the ornament for the Renewal Grasp, the Isochrono Nanofluid, fit this aesthetic perfectly. It also just looks like there is two gaming PCs strapped onto your hunter's arms, and something about that just makes me happy. Next up, we have the hunter helmet, and to be completely honest with you guys, so many helmets can work for this. If you're following along with me, don't get discouraged if you don't have the armor pieces that I have, because there are so many options. We have the ornaments from this current season, we have the Eternal Vengeance helmet from the Fortnite set, but I decided to go with the Celestial helmet. From here, we move on to the cloak, and again, tons of great options available to hunters for cloaks that would fit with this look. But in my head, I knew exactly what I was going to use, and that is the Psionic Stalker Cloak, because I can turn the actual like cape part into little green strings of strand. And now that I'm talking about this, I just realized that a lot of the armor pieces I used in here can be swapped out for something else. So if you don't have something, Just look around. For example, let me show off a couple of the other iterations I had of this hunter. But ultimately, after all of those iterations, I ended up landing on the Eternal Vengeance vest and the strides for my chest and legs. And that's how I made my hunter. But Muffin, you say, I don't like that exotic. I don't like having giant gaming PCs on my arms. Well, you're in luck because it can also work with your Falcon. All you have to do is just swap to the hardened basilisk vambraces or any other arms that you think work with the Falcon and this set. And if you're a fan of stompies, it works with the Astro Stride ornament for them, and it also works with the base version of the stompies. Let me know what you think about my hunter in the comments down below. Seriously, I'm genuinely curious because I'm not a hunter main and I like to know what you guys like. As we move on to my warlock, I want to introduce you to the hardened basilisk headpiece, my new favorite helmet for the warlock. I don't know what it is about this helmet. I just really wanted to build something around it immediately after I saw it. So one thing I really liked about this helmet was the little pointy things coming out of the sides of the helmet, making it look really evil. Well, the Sanguine Alchemy has those exact same points, kind of pointing in the same direction, so it was the perfect exotic for this build. When I first did this build on my own, I used Basalt Toxic on everything to kind of get a nice dark color, and I really liked the dark black metal on the Sanguine Alchemy with it. And part of the challenge of making this set was getting the rest of my armor pieces to match that same dark metal. Another thing I want to point out here is that the Sanguine Alchemy has a really nice layered armor look, and I really wanted to match that with the rest of my armor pieces. So that's why I ended up going with the Condescent gloves. And I also wanted to follow through with that on my bond, so that's why I ended up choosing the Starfarer's bond, because again, it has that layered armor look, and at the very least it has that same curvature that the shoulder pads on the Sanguine Alchemy have. And you want to see something really weird? To get the dark metal look, I had to put on the nail biter shader from the Guardian games. Like, there is no dark silver color whatsoever in that picture. I don't know why that works, but hey, it works. One of the hardest parts about making this set was the legs, because there weren't a lot of options there for me. So I ended up just going with the Nemean legs. I kind of just default to these whenever I'm trying to work on anything that resembles medieval armor. So yeah, if you have any suggestions of what I can use for the legs instead, please leave those in the comments down below. Also, let me know what you think about my warlock. I personally really like it. I think that the helmet and the Sanguine Alchemy robes are a match made in heaven. If you end up iterating on any of my ideas, please show me. I have my Discord server linked down below. Also, my socials will be down there. Feel free to tag me. Guardians, thank you so much for watching my little fashion update here. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you want to see some more stuff like this. Don't forget to subscribe, and a big thank you as always to all of my Patreon members. Some of the stuff shown here was bought with silver, and I really couldn't be buying all of these ornaments to show off to you guys without the help of my Patreon members. So a big thank you. And Guardians, please click on any of the videos popping up in your end card now, and as always, stay beautiful.